They're like the profit we would make versus the enforcement risks that we were taking.
For which one?
They were like, nah.
Yeah, at a place like theirs, I can see where it's not as big a deal.
Yeah.
People aren't going there just to drink.
No.
Right.
All right, here we go. Welcome and good evening. I would like to call the Monday, October 27th, 2025 school board meeting to order. Lisa, will you please call the roll?
Director Cummings?
Yep.
T. Felton?
Here.
Duffy?
Here.
Weber?
Here.
W. Felton? Here. Claflin?
Here.
And Chair Human?
Here.
That's 7 present.
Thank you. All right, and I ask all who are able to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Well, welcome everyone in the back corner, everyone watching on Town Square Television or online later. Thank you for joining us. First up is the approval of our meeting agenda and minutes. I am looking for a motion to approve the regular board meeting agenda for this evening, as well as the minutes for September 22nd, 2025's work session, September 22nd, 2025's business meeting, and the October 13th, 2025 work session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Oh, thank you, Wendy and Tim. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right, now we move to the fun stuff. Quality in action and reports, and I would love to invite our student board reps up to present. You're first.
All right. So some things to share. We had Mr. Chucky had the Connection Representatives meeting. A couple things were just things that were overall going well this year. We've seen a lot more people getting their schoolwork done and getting a lot more help when they need help with their schoolwork, which is really good. Overall, attendance is going super well. We've had a bunch of incentives that Ochaki is using to try and get kids to go to class more, which have been working a lot as well. The new waiting for Win Wednesday thing. So the first half of the trimester is we're not having Win Wednesdays, and then the second half, so the last 6 weeks, we are having Win Wednesdays, have been a lot more helpful in kind of getting students to get their work done so that they can look forward to that Win Wednesday in the second half of the trimester. Overall, behavior has improved across the board, so we don't have as many students hanging around in the hallways during class time, which is really good. Teachers have been helping de-escalate students and a lot of bad stuff going on, which has also been really good. And overall, as a whole, school spirit has been up by a lot this year.
Thanks, Monty. Sorry about that awkwardness.
Something the students would like to change for next year is the homecoming dance. So instead of it being like a week before the football game, they'll like it the day after the football game so they can like participate for Spirit Week in the football game, and they can have like their emotions high and stuff for the dance.
Okay. And then athletics and activities for this week. Football got the number 2 seed in sections, and they play the number 1 seed, Hill Murray, this Friday at 6 p.m. Swim and dive also has sections next week at John Glenn Middle School. And then the winter sports are also gearing up, and our friend Monty, who's a captain of Knowledge Bowl, they have a fundraiser November 19th. It's $2 per person. You need 4 to 5 people for a team, and you just compete in Knowledge Bowl, and the money goes to Knowledge Bowl.
Well, the money is going to go to our activity fund for the Stride for Packer Pride. So some people who can't afford to do activities as much, hopefully that money will go to somebody who can use it to help sign up for an activity or something.
And
You can try to take on me and Finette.
but it's gonna be hard, guys. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
We know what we're doing.
We know a lot about random stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be around 3 o'clock on that Wednesday, so it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
And that's the gist. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys so much.
nice.
I was like, I haven't like studied for something like that in a long time. You probably would take most of us down. All right, thank you. Next, I would like to, oh no, what opened up? I would like to invite the principal of Lincoln Center up Sophia Broussard. And she brought guests. Yay!
Like, do I come up with her?
Yes, why not?
Absolutely.
Come on, all of you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. We were just discussing, do I come up or can we just have teacher come up? And we decided we're going to continue collaborating. So at Lincoln Center this year, obviously, we're all getting to know each other and we really value collaboration. Something that our teachers have worked hard on and in previous year and this year is our outdoor classroom. So I brought a very important member here.
Hi, good to see all of you. I'm Emily Stobig, Mrs. Stobig. I was Emily Molinar previously, and I recognize a lot of your faces, and some of you have come to read in my room, and I know the kids love that. So I did science club, and then that transitioned into garden club for the last few years, and we've been so blessed with so many different groups of people supporting our outdoor classroom, like the PTO and just different communities. I know even neighborhoods have come together to pay for some of our seats for our outdoor space. And you can, I don't know, can you see? You have it in front of you, right? Okay, I was like, I didn't want to be referencing something that only I can see. We have beautiful, those like, the rocks are outdoor seating areas. We're going to get a nice chalkboard there that looks like a caterpillar so people can do lessons. And then all those nice new planters. We just had temporary ones previously, so they were kind of falling apart, all that jazz. So it's beautiful. And we have tons of different materials available, like whiteboards and markers, like cushions for kids to sit on, all of that kind of stuff. Basically anything that you would need in a classroom, we have available for the outdoor classroom. And so far this year, my classroom's really used it for silent reading, so I haven't taught tons of lessons out there, but things that they love, and this is what they told me, is they love that they get to look out and see nature rather than the inside of the building. They love how the noises they hear are different from school noises. Like, it was calming to hear a chainsaw. This was in September when they told me that, not October. And a mower instead of students in the hall. I personally haven't used it much yet, but I love that it's available to me and that the students love it and ask to go daily.
And sometimes we actually have self-starting of students, so if they need to co-regulate or regulate emotionally, they will walk out there. And it does help them just to sit there and sometimes garden or sometimes just sit in the nature or the outdoor space.
And then this is actually from our science specialist who couldn't be here tonight, and so she shared some things. Do you want to read it, or should I read it?
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So there's a video, and it's about kindergarten students utilizing the space. They're observing and recording the weather in their quest to become weather watchers. They have been learning to identify 4 different parts of the weather: the sky, what do you observe there? The temperature, what type of clothing is needed? The wind, do you feel or observe any wind? And the precipitation, is it rainy, snowy, or dry? And there is a video that is linked on there.
Thank you.
Michelle, what are we doing?
I'm taking pictures of the temperature so we can be allowed to watch. I can see one cloud out this is the sky, this is the water, this is the panda, and this is me.
Then what are you wearing in your picture?
My jacket. I cut the wind blew all the leaves off.
Okay, so you drew that all the leaves. Very.
The wind blew all the leaves off.
Very cute. Yes, and then yes, this is actually my class reading out there. So students of all ages enjoy utilizing this space, and they're constantly asking if they can go outside for science lessons or reading lessons. You can clearly see that they love it.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And then Liz Zerminski plans on using the outdoor classroom for Minds in Motion classes. And then her 3 through 5 classes will be done in collaboration with a grant with Whole Foods. Students will study gardening, growing of food, and food science. And then many of the students will hopefully continue learning, joining me, Emily Stobig, and the Garden Club in the spring. So that's kind of the update on the outdoor classroom. It's always been a dream for me personally to teach in a school that has an outdoor classroom instead of just going and looking at the landscape plants. So I'm very just thankful to everyone that made this possible.
Thank you for listening. Those are just some of our highlights at Lincoln Center, but we had to pick one that we really appreciated this time and our kids love.
There's so many.
Can we have you not sit down right away if we have any questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just didn't know how we were doing on time.
I want to know, so you said you have like whiteboards and all these things available. Do you have an outdoor storage space then, so it's all accessible in the classroom?
Wonderful question. So actually, yes, we just put in an order for 2 metal boxes. What I've discovered is the kids don't love sitting on the rocks without the cushions. So I think the cushions are going to be stored out there as well as these materials, so they're easily accessible to teachers and the students. And there will be a lock on the box.
And that's something we'll put out in my newsletter too, just so the community is aware to please help us keep the boxes safe. Because when we're not there, we're not there. And we're hopeful the community will be respectful to our boxes, and we think they will be.
Yeah.
But that's where all the materials will be.
And there's a bird feeder coming and lots of other new things that we just put in for.
Well, it's
Any other questions?
Exciting to see the progress from when it was like initially presented, like we would like to do this thing, to this point. That's awesome. Anyone else? All right.
Might be a dad joke here. Might be a good place to plant some seeds. There you go. With students, because we just added the new CAPS agricultural, like sustainability food systems, so it might be neat to get them connected and buddy them up a little bit. So I think we're just kind of figuring out, just scratching the surface, so to speak. So it'll be really fun.
That's a good idea. We'd love that. Send them our way.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, moving along to item 3C, I would like to invite Executive Director of Educational Services, Amy Winter, and members of her team to present on our Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness Report. The CACR. Are we not calling it that yet? I am.
Thank you. Sorry, as I was getting up here, I was accidentally adding blank slides to my presentation. So now I'm trying to delete them very quickly here before you post. You might have to exit and enter back in after I get all these deleted. Okay, I'm done. I'm not touching it.
Careful with those live Google Docs.
Yep. Yay, thank you. Okay. Well, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes. I have brought several people with me who are each going to kind of take a part of this presentation. You may notice that this year it is called the Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness, which is a little different from last year, because last year it was called World's Best Workforce. And so the state has made an adjustment and they have renamed it. And there were some minor changes in 2024 that you'll see some updates from that. So let me first do a quick introduction. So Scott was here the last meeting because he really specifically focuses around a lot of our reading. And one of the changes that you will see is reading used to be in this report and it is now being moved out of this report. But I kept him just here because he kind of presented at a different night. And then I have Natalie here. She primarily focuses around secondary, but also has some other buckets. And then Tom is here. He is our technology director. And then I have Kristen here, who focuses around early learning. So we'll each kind of take a piece of the presentation, and then we'll be available at the end to answer any questions. So for this plan, the state reviews every 3 years districts that are receiving title funds, and they review achievement, they review how language proficiency is progressing, and graduation rates and consistent attendance. Based on those indicators, which is the North Star accountability, so that's again what we kind of went over last time, they identify districts that then need to do an annual report. With the new updated language, there are 5 goals. All children are ready for school, which is similar to the previous World's Best Workforce. All racial and economic achievement gaps between students are closed. All students are ready for career and college, and all students graduate from high school. Those are all the same. They've rolled from the old plan. But what you will notice is all students are prepared to be lifelong learners is a new one. And again, they have dropped that all students can read at grade level, because they have now rolled that into the READ Act, and so we report out on that in a separate report. All right, I'm going to bring Kristen up here. She is going to do our first goal, which is all students are ready for school.
How do I advance this slide?
She's doing it. So
thanks, Lisa. So you can see here that this is our last year's results and then this year's goal. So we did not meet either one of our goals based on the FastBridge kindergarten testing benchmarks that they did in the fall of 2024 and spring of 2025. However, for math, we are on track. It's definitely a smaller gap than it was before, so that's good progress. And then we kept the goal the same for this year because we did not quite meet it last year, so it makes sense to keep it as it was. So here's the data from, I think that is 20, oh yeah, so this is the 3-year trend graph, sorry. So you can see the third one there, 2024-25, we did that's the at-risk students in the green, and it did increase a little bit in the spring. And this was for math, same thing, just a smaller increase, and that's where we really are seeing the progress, is in the math. So this is the pre-K data. This comes from our Teaching Strategies Gold data that we do. It's our developmental assessments that the preschool teachers give. And so you can see this is from the 2023-24 school year. We had increases in the dark blue there in those pie charts is the students who are at or above the developmental expectation that we would have. And it increased in the spring last year, which was positive. That's exactly what we wanted to see. It was right at 3% too. That was, I'm sorry, that's from 23 to 24. And then the next slide is 24 to 25. Same thing. We saw another increase, maybe not quite as much, but still right around that 3% that we're aiming for in math, and quite a bit more than that in literacy. So with that said, here are our action steps for this coming year. When we talk about kids being ready for school, it's really our school's going to be ready for the kids that are coming, because they are coming, like ready or not. So the first step is to make sure that we are ready for them and that we know what it is that they need. So screening becomes extremely important, and obviously we want to screen all children between the ages of 3 and 5. That closer to 3.5 is best, but within the first 30 days of kindergarten is the state mandate, and we aim to get all kindergartners screened by that time. We came really close this year, so it didn't quite meet the goal, but 8 students were not screened within that 30-day window of starting kindergarten, so not too bad. This is a new one for us this year. We are hoping to create a kindergarten transition team so that we can share that TS Gold data that was on those other slides with the kindergarten teachers and create some continuity so they know what to expect as those students are coming into their class. And I'm hoping that we are able to do some professional development this year so that the kindergarten teachers can really parse that data and understand what the TS Gold data is saying and what that means for how they teach these students. Third goal is that in the preschool, the creative curriculum, which is our academic curriculum, and conscious discipline curriculum, which is social emotional learning, are used to fidelity in the preschool classrooms, because the best way to make sure that we are helping them make progress is to make sure we're using our curriculum effectively and to make sure that it is the right curriculum. And in order to do that, we need to know it's being used appropriately. So this is a picture of the culminating building study. They had built buildings as part of their building study, and those proud faces of the work that they did. Goal 4 is that all of the preschool teachers will implement science of reading strategies, which they gained from their letters training that they all completed last year. So we are going to be doing walkthroughs to see that, as well as the creative curriculum implementation. That's that. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.
So again, this is a goal that has sunsetted in this presentation, but because we have to report out on last year, we have to report, but then you will not see it in this plan moving forward. So I'll go really fast. So the previous goal was that the percentage of students proficient or exceeding grade level benchmarks on the MCAs, or the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessment, will increase from 39% in the spring of 2024 to 42% in the spring 2025. So our result was in 2024 we were at 39%. In 2025 we increased, but we only increased 0.8%. So we didn't make that 3% gain that we were going after. And so again, we would make a goal moving forward, but that will be presented in a different presentation moving forward. This is just some of the trend data going back from 2021. All right, I'm going to bring Natalie up for goal 3.
Good evening. So this is really about closing the gaps between groups of students. If you go to the next slide, yep. Really, we had 2 elements to this goal. One is that each of these groups, our white students, students of color, and our students who qualify for free reduced lunch, each increase by at least 3%, but that also that the gap between those groups begin to close. The sort of growth among white students and students of color, we had growth in both cases, but just like Amy mentioned, it just was not very large, so we did not meet that 3% growth. Among our free reduced lunch students, it was significant, and that group is small enough that it tends to go up and down a little bit more inconsistently. And then the gap piece, the gap between white students and either of those other 2 groups is slightly smaller. So we did not have a number by which in the goal, did not state a number by which we were trying to close that gap. So technically the gap is a little bit smaller. I think the most important piece on the next slide is that never mind, sorry. No, you're in the right spot. This is just sort of going forward. So this is that for each of those, we have a goal again of increasing by 3%. So if you look at 23, 24, 25, for each of those groups, that we've been slow incremental increase. The goal again is 3%, because that's sort of a reasonable goal in terms of lofty reach. And then I think when we talk about closing gaps, the piece that is the most important to sort of wrap our heads around is that in order to close gaps, we need some students to make one more than a year of growth in a given school year. If some students start kindergarten, as Kristen was just talking about, at grade level, and some students start a year below grade level, and every year both of those groups makes exactly 1 year's worth of growth, that group that started a year below grade level will always remain below grade level. So we need to do things within the school to support some students making more than that year of growth. And so the question is, what do we do to do that? And so we have some action steps that really we're using on a regular basis to try to close those gaps, using our assessment data to drive our instruction, looking at the FAST scores and our classroom-based assessments to make our real-time instructional decisions. Intervention, that's why we have those intervention classes to get those students to make that more than 1 year's worth of growth. Academic support in addition to the intervention, so things that our counselors provide, some of our additional classes at the secondary school to provide additional academic support, as well as that social, emotional, and cultural support. Those are things that when students are more comfortable in school, when they're coming more often because they feel safe and comfortable, they're going to be able to engage further, participate in intervention, and take the support that we're giving them to make that more than 1 year's worth of growth. But I think for closing gaps, we just always have to keep in mind we have students that need to make more than a year's worth of growth. And then I'm also going to talk about all students being college and career ready. Our goal in last year was related specifically to 9th grade reading. Again, the state had a lot of reading pieces within these plans. This was a goal about 9th graders making growth from fall to spring. We met that goal, but it was not directly as tightly attached to college and career readiness as we might have. So this next year, our goal for college and career readiness is going to be very tied to our seniors. So our goal for this school year is that 80% of our seniors will have, you were in the right slide. Yes, sorry. 80% of our seniors will have a plan that they know exactly what they're going to do after the school year ends, whether that be work, military, 2-year school, trade school, 4-year school, that we know what at least 80% of our students are doing and that they have that plan fully sort of detailed out with us. We have a program that helps students with career exploration, sort of an online program that helps students with sort of self-reflection, some of those career inventories and self-surveys, some research. It's also the tool that can get used to support for students who are searching for colleges, a place for them to sort of document their plan over the course of 4 years. So we're really pushing the use of Zello in our high school to support that. And then tracking those personal learning plans. My hope also is if you come into the high school in May, that you will see visually what our students are doing, whether that be something on the wall with kids' pictures or names, what they're planning to do. A lot of schools have that sort of a celebration and recognition, and so my hope is that as we move forward, we can include that in our celebration of seniors in the spring. And then we have great tri-district experiences, work experiences, concurrent enrollment, IB classes that help students, again, with that figuring out what they want to do towards getting at least 80% of our students.
So I have previously given you some data around our high school graduation rate. I am going to just revisit that, and again to remind that we are a year behind on this data point. So it doesn't officially get publicized, and so it is a little delayed. So in 2022-23, the percentage of South St. Paul students graduating on time will improve from 74.4% in the spring to 77.4 in the spring of 2023. I don't know if I said that right, 74 to 77. Based on our data, we did not meet that goal, and so we will continue to have a graduation goal, and we're going to then have a starting point from 70.6, and then we're going to go after 73.6. Here's just a visual of comparison of the state of Minnesota's average graduation rate and what our graduation rate is looking like right now. So I think one of the things that with this goal in particular, what we're going to do is we have very closely tied our progress monitoring to the district strategic plan scorecard. And so one of the goals is around keeping track of kids and are they on target for graduation through all of high school. And so we are looking at that data pretty frequently because we are seeing, you know what I mean, what the end data looks like. pandemic. And so when we talk about action steps, we are going to continue to do the plan around our academic kind of course design around the Pathway to Packer Promise. We talked about the personal learning plans in alignment with our online platform, and then also looking at credit recovery options for students after school and during the summer. And I think, again, we want to be a little more responsive when kids are falling behind. That is why Win Wednesday is different, because of that. We want to be responsive. We want to be able to respond in that moment to give other steps that gets everybody back on track. All right, I get to introduce Tom for our last and new goal.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I'm really excited to be a part of the district now. I'm 2 months into the role, and I'm loving every minute of it. So this is a new goal for us this year. So we don't have data to compare from past years. But I really want to give a quick shout out to the technology department that's here that I'm coming into. The group is amazing. Just some of the stuff that they're working on behind the scenes that I don't think gets recognized enough. The educational technology, ed tech stuff we'll talk about more in a second. All of the infrastructure and systems they have to support and build. The cybersecurity, data privacy pieces, answering questions, troubleshooting, all of the student devices, all of the teacher devices, data management and reporting to the state, all of that stuff that the technology department handles, and this team that I have come into is amazing. So the way we in the technology department want to help prepare these students for to become lifelong learners is through digital citizenship, really trying to enhance the digital citizenship skills of every student in the district. So digital citizenship, just like regular citizenship, as we would want students to grow up to become responsible, knowledgeable, respectful members of a community, we want to do the same thing for our students in terms of online and digital relationships and communities that they're a part of. So we really want to provide a way to help students understand what that looks like, how they can utilize information online, engage with media in responsible, respectful ways. So how does this relate to lifelong learning? Well, obviously, we know that engagement online is going to be an important part of everyone's future, and how do we help the students prepare for that? How do we teach them the skills they need? We start all the way from kindergarten throughout high school, helping provide students the skills, the ideas, the thought process to help them with the critical thinking it needs to really become engaged and responsible digital citizens. So how are we going to do that? So we have worked with curriculum from Common Sense Education. And so we provide lessons to teachers to implement with students. Starting in kindergarten, the K through 5 grade levels, the media teachers that those students work with provide lessons on things as simple as how do you put a device down when you're engaging with someone and talking and communicating with someone in person? How do you take care of a device? What does it mean to have a digital footprint? And these lessons can go all the way up in middle school. We work with the language arts departments along with the ELL and SPED teachers to deliver lessons on students, or for students, on who's looking at your online presence, what does it mean, what are some red flags if you're doing online chats that you should be aware of and careful about. And then when we get to 9th through 12th grade, we work with both the language arts and the social studies teachers to deliver the curriculum to students. And now we're talking about things like online privacy. How do you request permission to post information about someone else? Cyberbullying is something that is a piece that goes throughout the whole curriculum, from the young kids all the way up to our high school students. And so we track the progress of these lessons that we're providing to teachers, because we have teachers submit back to us when they've delivered the lessons and any input they have for us on how those lessons went. A lot of the lessons also include quizzes that we encourage them to give to students just to see what they're learning and how the lessons are appealing to the students. And so that's been a huge goal of ours to really help students become lifelong learners, knowing how to do it responsibly and respectfully. So, thank you.
So moving to a slightly different next step of the reporting, one of the other parts of my role is our achievement and integration plan. We have three. Achievement and integration funding from the state is funding that comes based on enrollment, but it requires a plan that is renewed every 3 years. And so we are currently on the third year of a 3-year plan cycle. And it requires that each year that we report out on it. And then sometime this spring, we'll be submitting a new 3-year plan for how we'll use that funding. And the achievement and integration funds really are intended to be used to support integration between us and other districts, in particular focusing on, we don't have any racially isolated schools, but there are schools near us that are, and then achievement for all students, in particularly students of color. Our first goal is about reading proficiency. The goal that was set, I'll also say, sorry, there's a ton of data with this. I'm going to highlight a few data pieces, and then we're going to skip through a few data pieces. This will go on the website. It needs to be publicly shared. And so the data, if you want to look further into it, you can do that. And if you want even more data, I have even more. So this is just the Achievement and Integration funding has a lot of data attached to it. So I'm going to try to highlight some things. And actually, Lisa, if you want to go back, this is one that I was going to highlight. One of our key goals is reading, specifically for our Hispanic or Latino students and our Black or African American students. And that's the way the state phrases those two groups of students to be as inclusive as possible. Our goal was set at the beginning of this 3-year plan, so in the spring of 2022, and with a 5% increase each year. So I'll just share that the black numbers were our targets, and the blue numbers are our actuals. And so when you set your goal is to increase 5% each year you get sort of further from the target. So even though we're growing, overall, we're getting sort of further from our target, because that was the target that was set as a very ambitious set target 3 years ago. But so you can see sort of what the target was and where we're at. The next slide is just the same thing, except for specifically focused on third graders. So again, if you want to dig further into that, you can. But the next slide talks about our actions related specifically to how are we working on growing reading for those groups. But these are very culturally specific strategies instead of just science of reading. So we know that we're doing science of reading, but the achievement and integration funding asks us to focus more on targeting these groups and being more culturally specific. So that funding is used to support our cultural liaisons at each of our schools, our AmazeWorks anti-bias curriculum at the elementary, Goal Getters, which is a targeted mentoring group at our middle school that has expanded to 9th grade this year, and then some of our student cultural affinity groups at the secondary. So those are ways that we're using some specific actions to support those groups of students. Our second goal is around teachers. So we have a student goal around student growth. Our second goal is around teachers receiving regular job-embedded, equity-focused professional development, and then including that in their professional development, their PLCs, and their ongoing team meetings. Here again, lots of data, but really the top one is really us showing that over time we're wanting that equity and science of reading to be present in more and more of our teachers' meetings, in their PLC discussions. We want them to be bringing that science of reading training into their PLC. It's a little harder to track, which is why I don't have actuals there, but we're working on figuring out how for this spring how to track that. And then this one is very specific to middle school. So I do want to highlight here, Again, we're not at the targets, but if you look for our middle school students, our MCA reading has grown faster and more significantly, and just more where our 10th grade has not grown as much. When you do reading work, it kind of works its way up. We've put a lot of work into the elementary. We've moved our work into the middle school. And we're now trying to move that up. So 10th grade is a place where we hope to see those growth in the coming years. Strategies in this area, with the science of reading, we've started this year with everyone who has previously been in the district has completed their science of reading training. So we have a very small number of new teachers who are doing that this year. Our equity and instructional coaching, again, because this is strategy, our goal is focused on teachers, and then working to recruit, hire, and retain teachers of color. And so we have some specific strategies there to support that, specifically knowing that students seeing someone that looks like them at some point during their day, that has a real positive impact on students. The last goal in the achievement of integration work is specific to integration. And so it's our students having opportunities to interface with and work with students from other districts and to increase their opportunities to participate in racially and economically integrated activities. And so that one is very specific to an activity that we have called Youth Ambassadors. There is, you can go to the next slide. Of this, and one more, because this is just what the requirement is. We participate with Two Rivers High School and the St. Paul Public Schools High Schools on a Youth Ambassadors program where students are able to apply, help plan an event in the spring called Beyond Our Walls, and then help lead that in May. We had the first year 3 participants. We had 7 participants last year. Our target this year is 8 participants, and those students have the opportunity to work with those other students from other schools in an integrated activity. And that is the end of those things. So I think, are we opening up to questions? Okay.
It was so much information, guys. Yes. I was like, give me a second. If anybody else has questions, Monica, please.
So I have 2 questions, and they're kind of dealing with our youngest learners and our oldest learners, kind of at both ends. So I guess my questions is for the making sure every student is ready for kindergarten. Like, do we work with the county? Do we know how many 3-year-olds we have in our community? Do we know where? And obviously, people move in and people move out, but like, how do we know where they're at? Or how can we connect with maybe county services or other services to know, like, that these services exist and you need to do this?
So we receive birth data from the Department of Health every month, and so we kind of extrapolate, and also census data. So we use that to reach out. We send postcards for screening. We send postcards for preschool. So it's all kind of based on that census data and the birth data, so that we know, like, how many are out there. It's just like you said. Does that answer your question?
It does, but then, so how do we as a community work together to make sure that every 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, like, are there community things that we can do outside of the school district before they become our prodigy?
Are you talking mostly about screening, the early childhood screening, or just in general?
Just any. I'm just curious. I'm just brainstorming of, like,
yes,
what other community events or supports could we set up to make sure?
Yeah, I mean, we are always trying to get the word out. I will tell you that. So community events have been huge. We do. We have, as part of our screening process, we do a survey for families afterwards. It's an anonymous survey that just gets sent out to them, and a lot of one of the questions on there there is how did you hear about screening and how old was your child when you heard about screening. A lot more and more, and it started out that, I heard about it when my child was 5 and we were starting kindergarten. A lot more people are saying, I heard about it at birth, I heard about it from a friend, I heard about it from school staff, and it's earlier and earlier. So, and they also, a lot of people said, I heard about it from a person at an event. So that gives us some, like, okay, Kaposia Days, here we go. So I think just the more that we get the word out, because I think as long as screening has been around, it's still not super widely known about or understood. So I think just the more that we can publicize and really educate as far as what the purpose is and how it helps our kids, I think the better.
And then on the other end, measure all. So I don't know how many seniors do we have?
I can tell you in a second.
A little over 200.
Because I had estimated 230, just as a guess. And so that would be 184 students that we need to know what their post-secondary plans are. Do we have enough staff to accomplish this goal?
Our counselors last year did some informal surveying and had a pretty good sense. So I do feel like we do between our counseling staff, and then we have a college and career center coordinator. And then that is like the Zello, the technology that I mentioned, is partly to gather that initial, sort of to manage the information. But based on the conversations with the counselors from their work last year, I do think that we have the staff to gather that information and provide students at least with as much guidance as we can.
I wanted to ask regarding the graduation rates, when the state is looking at that statistic, how do they define, like, the time? Is it a time period that someone graduates in, or?
Yeah, they do graduation rate based on the 4-year rate. Okay. There is a 7-year rate that we do report out on, but they don't necessarily publicize it or put it in this report. And I think the other thing I will tell you is that graduation rate is a combination of our high school and our CLC alternative high school, and so it is combining both of their data points for that one. So I would say kiddos that we are normally sending to CLC are already behind, and we are trying to close that gap and get them back on target. I have looked at the data with CLC in particular. The 4-year rate is obviously not where we wanted, but our 7-year rate looks pretty solid. And so we may not get them, be able to close the gap completely in that 4 years, but we are seeing success if we give them a little more time.
I also had a question about the Zello. I was like, if no one else is going to go. Do our students have access to that, like, just throughout the day or throughout the year, or is it only during? Student board reps, can you tell me about Zello?
It's like a career readiness program where, like, we can research careers on there and different schools, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We get like a 0.5 credit for the connections class if we complete it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find it a useful tool? Is it helping?
Yeah, I mean, there's like stuff in it. One of them is about like job interview skills. So, I mean, they're pretty helpful tools.
And do you guys have access to it when you're not in connections class?
Yeah, it's in our Connection Schoology page.
Okay.
You can do it at home and stuff.
Very cool.
Any follow-up questions, or did they pretty much hit it on the money?
I think that's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
Like, how useful is it if you can only access it like 15 minutes once a week or whatever, Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Thank you for all that information.
Thank you so much.
Amy, I have a question for you, just quickly.
Yes,
so we talk a lot, you talk about groups of kids that are at grade level and then groups that aren't at grade level. There's a lot of talk about getting that lower group up to grade level. Do you feel you're at a place where you have enough resources to not take away from the kids that are at grade level so they keep succeeding without taking from them and giving to that group that isn't? Because that would kind of defeat the purpose, like slowing kids down to. Correct. We don't want to do that.
Yep.
What do you feel? Are we there?
I mean, I think that's the big question is, do we always have those resources to do this? I would say that I would always advocate for more resources, candidly. to make sure that we are pushing everybody and closing that gap. I mean, it does take layers of support, and I would always advocate for more. So.
Right, but they'll always be limited. They're never endless.
I agree.
So you feel we're at a point where you're not pulling from those kids that are at or above grade level because they want to keep achieving, right? Otherwise, if we are known for not letting those kids excel, we'll lose that group of students.
For sure, and that's actually one of the reasons when I was coming in and we did that whole Pathway to Packer Promise, it was one of the reasons why we built the whole kind of GT and accelerated learning program and building that into a K-12 model, because we know we need to push everyone. And so I would definitely say that we are still building that program out for, honestly, an individualized approach for some of our highest achieving students. That's also what IB does. That's also what the concurrent enrollment classes do. I think we're having to work smarter, like how do we really refine some of this work while also providing intervention support that's targeted, that is able to close it. We're always trying to find that sweet spot. Am I saying we're figuring it out perfectly? No, I think it's just always that moving target. But do I feel like it's at a cost, like we're subtracting? I would say no, because we're also expanding those programs simultaneously. So we're doing it on both ends.
Good. I mean, that's what I wanted to hear. I want to just keep knowing that we are feeding those kids that are at or above and not taking away from them for other groups.
And I agree. I think that's something that it's very much on our minds around making sure that we are offering the programming that our kids need.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the change at the upper elementary that went in this year around like math instruction and...
Yeah, so one of the things that we really wanted to kick off this year is giving more individualized math instruction at that earlier age. And so we are doing some specific grouping for kids who are showing readiness in math. They're doing it in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And so they are doing an enriched math class. The intention of that is really to go deep on concepts so that they are ready for acceleration. And the goal is then to move acceleration into 6th grade so that they can move, and again, that's all an expansion program that we haven't previously had. So we've been building it, and we are now starting to kind of see that shift moving into the middle school and that secondary level.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I always try to prioritize is that emphasis on, the way I like to frame it, is highly individualized instruction for all learners. And as principal, I used to say to my students, I accept you where you are. I don't accept you staying there. So if you need extra help, that's okay. We're going to provide you that intervention and extra support. But if you're above grade level, you also deserve to be pushed and challenged and grow at that individualized level for sure. And we also do receive, to support some of our students, like our English learners were one of the groups you saw. They bring in separate categorical funds. So we do thankfully get, as Amy said, we'll always advocate for more. But our free and reduced price lunch, there's clear data that shows that has an impact on student achievement, and that is a significant source of income or revenue for us, which is why we're still waiting to find out what the legislature is going to do there. We've advocated for EL funding, and that was something that the state stepped up on and helped with the cross subsidy there. So there's always going to be a need, but that's a great question, and we definitely don't want anybody to not be challenged at that level they need and deserve, whether that's middle of the road, high, or needing some extra support. So it's a good question.
Well, thank you so much, and welcome to Tom. We're happy to have you here.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, next up, item 4D, stakeholder comments to the board. As a reminder to the community, there are 2 ways to make comment to the board. You may either submit an online form or appear before the board in person. If you would like to speak in person, the board has set time on our second Monday of each month at 6:30 during our regular extended work session meeting. We received no online comments during this time. However, we welcomed one stakeholder to speak at our session on Monday, October 13th. A parent came to share their concerns regarding our 4th grade curriculum materials and whether they are age appropriate. All right. At this time, I will now turn things over to Vice Chair Claflin for an update on our work sessions.
Thank you. Immediately prior to this business meeting, we had a work session for the board members. During that meeting, we prepped some of the conversations that we'll have at the end of the year, going into next year, on our board organization and the roles that we all fill on other committees and liaisons to other organizations outside of our participation as board members. And all of the other community engagement that we engage in as well, such as the Halloween get-together. We will be out representing the school district on Marie Avenue from 5 to 7. And we recently hosted a senior luncheon at the community center. We also had some discussion about the policies that will come up later in the agenda. Some follow-up on the proposal to rename or name our stadium following the discussion that we had 2 weeks ago at our work session. And a discussion of the State High School League resolution that'll come up later this evening as well. It was brief, but touched on a lot of different topics. And then 2 weeks ago at our work session, you can also read the full recap of this in the minutes that are attached to our agenda. But we discussed the proposal to name the stadium after Jim Carter, and that had been resubmitted to the school board, and the Finance, Facilities, and Long-Range Planning Committee reviewed that, did not recommend supporting that proposal. After board discussion, a consensus was reached to pause the action to gain more information about the actual scope, the commitments of donations, and that is still a developing proposal. We discussed the need for a bond referendum and reaching out to our community to continue to support the South St. Paul education community. We have many, many identified needs, and we have a bond that is going to be expiring soon and could ask our community to continue to support education with no change in the taxes that you pay, or other possibilities to come out to the community and ask for funding for different projects. So we are evaluating that, and there's a survey going on right now. You may get a phone call. Please answer those phone calls. We really want to have a feedback from our community. It helps us be successful, and we know that our community really supports our students and our education here. We're very grateful that we are able to fund a lot of our needs because of the very generous support of our community. So we'll be continuing to discuss that. We heard about the scorecards that the district is going to be using, similar to what we had just heard on the, it's a long title, isn't it? The Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness measures. And yes, and then we heard the preview of all of the comprehensive achievement and civic readiness as well. So it was good to see it in even more detail tonight. We have been busy at our work sessions.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Zambrino to give us our district update.
All right. Well, way too many great things going on to share it all. It's just been a really fun fall. Certainly been fun with our athletics and activities and things doing very well. Had fun at the football game on Saturday, and then we had a great fundraiser at Tanucci's on Sunday with the Open, which I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about. But that was fun to get to my first fundraiser at Tanucci's, because it's been a while since they've been able to do that. So, but lots of great things going on. People should be seeing in your mailboxes our new 6 times, and again, an opportunity to highlight the great work going on. And what you'll really see in there is our commitment to engage, educate, and empower learners, and really our entire community. As far as in our space spaces, our innovative learning spaces, technology, how we're addressing through our scorecards, our learning needs, our attendance, our graduation goals. I shared we expanded our tri-district CAPS programming to include natural resources and food systems, sustainability. Lots of things going on to make sure everyone's feeling great. I love the way the new colors and brands show up. It's really fun for our communications team to get to work on that. I love the front page, getting to see the work we're doing paying off in outcomes for kids. You actually see where the state's been dropping a little bit in reading, where we've gone up, and Minnesota's gone up a little bit in math, and we've gone up more. So we're not satisfied yet, but you heard the commitment of the team today to continue to push on that and continue to learn and grow and improve. But hopefully you got that in your mailbox, but you can always find out anything on our website. There's a digital version there at our news link on our website. So please, anytime you're looking for something, our team does a fantastic job with the website, so hop on there. But we really wanted people to see our commitment to serving our entire community, and that's what we really hope people see when they're walking their way through that new 6 times. Each year, we put out the reminder for families. It is state statute that students are supposed to be fully vaccinated to attend school. And so there is a cutoff date where either the students have to be vaccinated or have an objection on record. And so we really work hard to support our families. And so we're offering a free vaccination clinic on Wednesday. And so that's from 8 to 12 at Central Square. They would like it if you would register, but if you just show up, that's no problem. We'll support with that, and if folks need clarification on the exemption, we can certainly share that, but I want to make sure no kids miss a day of school for that reason. We've talked a bit about student achievement across the board, and I love this picture because here are some of our just highest achieving students. So I got to attend the Academic Gold Awards recently, a few weeks back, a couple weeks maybe, and the students who received an academic letter, they earned that from having a 3.7 GPA each trimester during one school year. So all of these students were able to maintain a 3.7 GPA for a whole year. You'll see the group gets a little smaller when we go to the next award, which is the Chevron. That's when they've done that in 2 school years. So that 3.7 GPA all the way through for 2 school years. And then our highest award being the academic pin recipients. And so nice to see one of our student board reps right there in that picture, working real hard to have a 3.7 GPA all the way through. So congratulations, Monty and others. And let me see, who am I missing there? I got to look at
Chloe's right.
Chloe's, where's Chloe? Oh, I see, with the hair. Sorry, Chloe. So that just shows you how good our kids are and like why we have them on our, were you supposed to get it and you're not in there?
I take some PSO classes.
Oh, see, she's too good. She's got to be doing other fancy stuff. So all 3. So how about a shout out for our student board reps? Congratulations. And I know from watching the work that the kids are doing, it's high level, and so these aren't grades that are just handed out. They're working really hard, and I know that the teachers also pay in a big commitment because we talked about like the Win Wednesday and that time, that if our kids need that extra support, that extra push, our staff are always there for them. So glad I got all of you in there. Sorry I missed it at the initials. So it's super exciting, though. I love the fact that we catch kids doing something right, because I know a lot of times we all get snared into things we weren't doing that were on point, and we got a lot of kids doing exactly what they're supposed to do, including these 3 right here. So congratulations. We talked a little bit about CAPS. Our CAPS program really is rooted in how do we bring real life learning, hands-on experiences tied to what's happening in the real world. And so neat opportunity for students to go to the Mississippi River Institute, which is actually a floating classroom barge. And they have opportunities to explore many career opportunities that the river supports. So actually, I think there's a really neat social studies unit in there around why we are where we are, because that river is so essential to our economy. But what's really cool is they were able to tailor each experience to the different pathways that the kids were in. So business, healthcare, transportation, trades, and then that new sustainability and food systems. And so they were able to get on that barge and do some real life hands-on learning and bring learning to life. So shout out to our CAPS teachers and team for working on that. had a lot of really cool attention on our Ninja Warrior course. I think all of us are pretty well aware of what a neat thing that Ms. Johnson and, of course, her students, because it's really about students leading the way to take a stance to fight against cancer, but to bring positivity and joy into our classroom or into our learning spaces, in this case, our gym. But word got out, and we got coverage from Fox 9, ABC, and Town Square. So they've been interviewed, and a lot of attention on the great things happening there at the Ninja Warrior course down at Kaposa. So shout out to our staff and students there. I've not heard this one, so I'm kind of excited. So our theater program is putting on Bright Star, which is a love story, a story about love and redemption set in the American South during World War II. I guess the plot is a young soldier helping a woman remember a child she gave up long ago. So you can see the performances. Again, I have not heard of that one, but I know it's going to be fantastic because they have yet to disappoint. And so those performances are right around the corner here. Coming up, we've got it, the opening on Friday the 14th at 7. We got matinee and evening performance on the 15th, and then a matinee on Sunday the 16th. So we do ask that you try to purchase tickets online, but if not, you can certainly get them at the door. If you want to go online, just go to our website. Apologize, losing my voice there. I love this, no school on Halloween. I think this should be a thing. Actually, my personal bias after being an educator for this long is it should just be the last Saturday of October, but I don't know if I'll ever get that dream to come true, but we are going to take that day and do some professional learning for teachers, and we'll keep the candy out of the schools for at least one day. And then we're coming up, we got a break there around the Thanksgiving holiday, so just want to make sure people mark that. PTA meetings coming up on the 10th and 11th, 10th at Lincoln at 7 o'clock and the 11th at 6 at Kaposia, and then fall conferences November 24th and 25th. So as we just continue to motor our way through the year. Talked about our theater performance. We love the arts. We have that strong commitment to the arts. We have choir on November 18th, putting on a concert, and then band on the 19th. So lots of opportunities to engage this month coming up here with the arts. And then we have the rollout, as we heard earlier, that athletics and activities are transitioning over. So we'll have November 10th, our gymnastics, girls basketball, boys hockey starts up. 14th through 16th, I mentioned the theater performance. Opening days for boys basketball on November 17th, and wrestling as well. Lots of interest and excitement in our wrestling program, so really excited to see our girls program continues to just grow and thrive. And I watched them wrestle last year, and it's terrifying. So I am in awe of what they're able to do. And then November 24th, opening days for boys swimming and diving. So lots going on as we continue our way through the year. As always, if you want to check out any of our materials, our website is always a great place to go, and you can see what our school board's been up to or just general information about the district. So lots more than that going on, but I'll keep it to that so we don't keep you here all night.
All right, thank you, Dr. Zambrino.
Sure.
All right, next I am looking for a motion to approve the consent items on tonight's agenda, which include the financial claims and bills payable and staffing as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Thank you, thank you. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right, this evening we have a series of policies on our agenda for review. District policies play a critical role in the governance work of the school board. All district policies are available on our website under the About Us tab, located within the school board section, and then under SSPPS policies. 12 of these policies are up for approval tonight. These policies were initially reviewed by the board policy committee on September 29th. At this time, I am seeking a motion to approve the policies listed on our agenda this evening. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The policies for approval tonight are 201, legal status of the school board, 202, school board officers, 203, operation of the school board governing rules, 203.2, order of the regular school board meeting, 203.5, school board meeting agenda, 203.6, consent agendas, 423, employee-student relationships, 507, corporal punishment and prone restraint, 507.5, school resource officers, 598, extended school year for certain students with individualized education plans, 519, interviews of students by outside agencies, 520, student surveys and forms. These policies all had no to very minor changes, such as just updated legal citations, hence they're only reviewed for the one cycle. Are there any questions or discussion about these policies? I'll say we had a discussion earlier in our work session, so that's not surprising. All those in favor of approving these, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These carry 7-0. The policies pass. The next two policies were also initially reviewed at the policy committee at the September 29th meeting. They are on their second of 3 readings and will be up for approval at our November 24th meeting. They're policy 532, use of peace officers and crisis teams to remove students with IEPs from school grounds, and policy 905, advertising. All right, moving on to business items. We have 7 business items before us for approval this evening. First up, we have 4 items related to school board member employment in the district as substitutes. These items can only pass with a unanimous vote of the board, so there is no need for any of the directors to recuse themselves from voting on these. So first, I am looking for a motion for approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution authorizing employment of board member Ryan Duffy as a substitute in a classified position in the school district. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Dr. Zimbrino, do you have anything to add on this topic?
No, I think you said it right.
Okay.
It's an annual process that all board members vote on, and we're always happy to bring that forward.
All right. Lisa, will you please call the roll?
Director Weber?
Yes.
W. Felton?
Yes.
Claflin?
Yes.
Cummings?
Yes.
T. Felton?
Yes.
Duffy?
Yes.
And Chair Human.
Yes.
That's 7 yeas.
All right, carries. Now we'll do it all over again. I'm looking for a motion for approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution authorizing employment of board member Kim Human as a substitute in a classified position in the school district. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Anything new to add? No, of course not. Lisa, will you please call the roll?
Director W. Felton?
Yes.
Claflin?
Yes.
Cummings?
Yes.
T. Felton?
Yes.
Duffy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
And Chair Human.
Yes.
That's 7 yeas.
Thank you. Carry 7-0. I am now looking approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution authorizing employment of board member Wendy Felton as a substitute in a classified position in the school district. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All right, any questions or discussion? Please read the roll.
Director Claflin?
Yes.
Cummings?
Yes.
T. Felton?
Yes.
Duffy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
W. Felton?
Yes.
And Chair Human?
Yes.
That's 7 yeas.
All right, that carries 7-0. And finally, I am looking for a motion for approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution authorizing employment of board member Tim Felton as a substitute in a classified position in the school district. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Lisa, will you please call the roll?
Director T. Felton?
Yes.
Duffy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
W. Felton?
Yes.
Claflin?
Yes.
Cummings?
Yes.
And Chair Human.
Yes. All right, also carries 7-0. Perfect. Next item, I am looking for a motion for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution of governing board supporting Form A application to the Minnesota State High School League Foundation. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And I invite Dr. Zambrino to touch on this, please.
Yeah, this one's not necessarily as intuitive, but this is a really cool opportunity. So the Minnesota State High School League, of course, charges fees at events, and so they get a pool of money that they build from that. And what they do is they make this pool of money available to schools to apply for, and it would work in a similar fashion to like how our Open does, where if you all approve this, the money will, instead of going to the Open, it comes to the district, but it would be used in a similar manner to help with fees for activities and athletics, or even potentially supplies, uniforms, other materials that our athletics and activities might need for the students. So all forward to the students, really.
All right. Any questions or comments on this?
Yeah, I had a quick question. Does that automatically come if we fill out paperwork, or are you if you qualify, you can get it?
I believe it's still need-based, but for students, it would be like a need-based thing, but obviously for the teams, it would be up to our athletic and activities director, Brady, to look at where that need is and backfill some of that need. But I can find out more details and share that back with you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if our district got some automatically, as long as we filled out the paperwork, we're going to get a chunk back, or if...
What he told me today is we apply, so I can find out more specifics.
means-
from
okay.
him. Yeah.
All right. If there are no further questions, Lisa, will you please call the roll?
Director Duffy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
W. Felton?
Yes.
Claflin?
Yes.
Cummings?
Yes.
T. Felton?
Yes.
And Chair Human?
Yes.
That's 7 yeas.
All right. Resolution carries 7-0. Next item, I am looking for a motion for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the preliminary field trip request for the high school IB history class field trip to Spain and Portugal on March 17th through 25th of 2027. Do I have a motion? So moved.
Second, you absolutely do, because I did it 50 years ago.
All right, and I
Spain.
invite Amy Winter up.
Hello. So this is just a preliminary for the high school to start doing some of the planning. They are planning on going to Spain and Portugal on March of 2027. And this is aligned to some of our IB classes.
Any questions or comments?
If there was any need to have a chaperone from the school board, I would volunteer.
You're volunteering.
Very generous.
Like I said, back 50 years ago when I was in high school in the Spanish group, we went to Spain for almost 3 weeks. It was phenomenal, extremely educational, and I had Spanish classes for almost 5 years altogether way back then. So it is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for students to do those things.
They heard the 3 weeks, didn't you? We're not quite asking for that much time.
All right, if there is no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Plan away.
Thank you.
Okay, next, I am looking for a motion for the approval of the acceptance of gifts report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And I would like to invite our finance director, Rod Chothup. Please share the donation.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. It is an honor, to acknowledge the hardworking and supportive and welcoming community that our city, South St. Paul, and our school district here has entrusted us here. Having said that, there's a monetary donation for $1,500 by Thomas and Jane Simmer for the outdoor classroom, the former presentation that all of us saw here. Just phenomenal. So I just would recommend the full board to accept this generous donation.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Any questions or comments? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries 7-0, and thank you so much. It sounds like this classroom is amazing, and it's through donations from our community to help support that.
Thank you so much.
All right. We are getting towards the end. As our final agenda item this evening, I ask our school board members to share any updates on the committees they serve on or highlight any recent district activities or events they've participated in. And I will start with Director Duffy.
Was at the Packer breakfast. I'm not sure what the exact name was that the Open put on yesterday. Great food from Tanucci's. It was a wonderful event. I know they raised quite a bit of money, and it's the first year they've done it in a while, so they're really excited to continue this tradition and having people come down and raise money for our students' activities and athletics. And then you couldn't be more excited to be back in a section championship if you follow Packer football, and that'll be Friday at Hill Murray at 6 p.m. A little bit of a revenge game for the kids, so hopefully all goes well, and I know the kids are really prepared. We played our best game this past Saturday, so it was fun to watch.
Thank you. Wonderful. Director Felton.
Yes. First thing is I want to remind everyone, next week on Thursday, November 6th, our Education Foundation major fundraiser, the gala, will be held at the Mendota Heights Country Club. And one of the really wonderful things by the foundation is they have many auctions, silent auctions and loud auctions. And it's a nice variety of items available if you would like to, especially sign up on the silent auctions, which I do. If you have anything that you would want to donate to the Education Foundation, please give it to them as soon as possible because they are arranging everything in the packages, and it is a wonderful, wonderful evening event. And also, as was mentioned earlier, our theater department, which will have their next Theater Bright Star program in 3 weeks at the secondary building. It is a musical program, which is my personal favorite. I love their musicals, so I certainly will be attending that play. And also this week on Wednesday at the Senior Center at Central Square, it is our fashion show, which starts at 11 o'clock and goes till about 1:30. And you do need to pre-register if you plan on attending, because we do have a provided luncheon, which is from the Coop. So we are having a chicken dinner again, which is always so good and so welcomed, this Wednesday at the Senior Center at 11 o'clock. Of course, I have been one of the fashion show models for many years, so that's coming up again this time. And I also personally want to say a thank you to everyone who came to our booth when we were in the On the Road Again thing on October 4th down on Southview Boulevard. Thank you everyone for coming to us. And they got to spin the wheel. That was fun. And a lot of purchases that if you were interested in the hats or T-shirts. So we thank everyone for coming and supporting us at the On the Road Again. So thank you.
Thank you. Director Weber. Not much. I also had a great time at On the Road Again. Although if I could request, I don't want it to be 30 degrees and I don't want it to be 85 degrees. So if we could settle on a nice 65 for next year, that would be, because it was a warm day. But no, had a great time. And also just looking forward to all the winter events getting started. And I'm a huge basketball fan, so hope to get out to some of those games this year. And yeah, just going forward.
Thank you. Director Cummings?
Well, it was great to see members of our community out again, as other board members talked about it, on the road again. Also great to see so many folks at our Hall of Fame ceremony that happened, and the Gold Awards, certainly with some of our student reps and so many other students. One of our student reps from last year as well, Jackson, was honored as well at the Gold Awards ceremony. I set out the goal to try to go to all of the fall sporting events, and I failed. I missed getting to a women's tennis match, and so I owe the women's tennis team, but it was great to go out and see our cross-country team in Cannon Falls and our football team and soccer teams, swimming and diving and volleyball. It was great to be out this year to see so many of our student athletes. Wanted to shout out to our Ed Foundation and our Open Foundation for putting on just some exceptional events. The walkathon, and then there was the feast yesterday at Tanucci's that I am hoping that they continue into the future. And as others mentioned, there's opportunities for you as community members to support our students. I know that others have mentioned Bright Star, the theater. I just went yesterday or this weekend to the taco feed and won pork loin in the meat raffle. Hey. So I got to figure out how to cook that. But go and support them in Bright Star coming up this next month. As Director Duffy talked about, we're playing Hill Murray on Friday. I am told that at Hill Murray you need to come early. You cannot show up on time. You have to come very early to get parking and to get a good spot. And so I will have to come a little late as we're doing trick-or-treating. And then on November 13th, there is our senior social, and I've heard they're going to have a nice turkey dinner. So thank you to everyone who comes out and supports our community, and thank you especially to our Ed and Open Foundations for all their work supporting our students.
Thank you. Director Felton.
Oh, just two quick things. My daughter, who's a girls tennis player, did mention she didn't see you there. So I will tell her you apologize. You'll be there next year. And then just a shout out, SSP Open. He doesn't ask for any recognition, but the chairman, Mark Duffy, did a great job with the event and a lot of work. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out, and it was a nice day.
Thank you. Vice Chair Clapham.
Thank you. I've got to cast my memory back a little bit here as well and remember all of the things that have happened because it's been a busy start to the school year. At the walkathon, I was really excited to see the number of young students who were there participating and all of the familiar faces that were at the walkathon and the huge number of new faces. It was really nice to see people welcoming in families to our community and introducing folks to this tradition that has carried on for a very long time and the culture that we have in South St. Paul. I also really have to shout out our nutrition services staff. A few weeks ago at a work session, Dory came and spoke to the Finance Facilities and Long Range Planning Committee and talked about all the work they do to really do a lot with very little funding for our students. And I'm honestly not surprised at how much our students eat, but they just use those resources to their full advantage. And we learned quite a bit about the challenges that it takes to pull that off. And to pull it off where lunch is the first thing that we hear about in the house over anything else, what was for lunch. And those lunches continue to get rave reviews. I have asked Dory for the lo mein recipe because it's better than mine, apparently. So Nutrition Services is just doing a fantastic job. And I have to thank all of our students at the football games that I've been to. Everyone is so enthusiastic and polite and kind, and you can really see that school spirit and pride show through. And you can see it in the young kids, too, that are emulating the older kids. So you are all good role models for the younger folks that are there because you know they want to be exactly like you. And finally, I was able to help take down the Ninja Warrior course at Kaposia, and that was a lot of fun. There were a bunch of kids there who told me all about their favorite parts of it and demonstrated all the different things that they like to do. It is a huge course, and the kids are so excited about it. They love this challenge. It gets every kid to participate and find a personal challenge to work on. And they were also excited to tell me through the leadership project associated with it that they are trying to figure out how to support a classmate who is battling cancer and to really bring this back to how they can be engaged in their community and give back to someone. Without being prompted by an adult asking about this, they were telling me what they want to do to help their classmates. So that's exactly what we want to see in our kids. It's been a great month here in South St. Paul. Lots going on.
Thank you. Well, I know that Dr. Zambrino touched on it in his update, but I want to thank the communications team, Lisa and Danette. This 6 times looks beautiful. I hope everyone in the community takes a look at it, and I would love to hear from people who haven't seen our brand refresh yet, what they think. So everyone, check your mail if you haven't already. I think it just looks gorgeous. And then kind of just touching, I know you always say we have the best kids, and I also was at the taco feed at the Crow on Saturday for the theater program, and while I was eating, I observed a senior come up to a 6th grader. It was revealed in conversation because they're both involved in theater, and they were encouraging them to stay involved and to do more things at school and to think about show choir. And I just thought it was so cool to see someone who is now at the end of their high school career trying to bring up like the next kids to kind of fill their shoes, kind of speaking to like, what are they doing unprompted? And that's what we want. And it was such a great moment. I did genuinely tear up because I was like, that's so cool. So thank you to everyone and all our kids. And that is the agenda for tonight. I would like a motion to adjourn the Monday, October 27, 2025 school board meeting. So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The school board meeting is adjourned at 7:29. Thank you so much.